Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining in today with America Break Your Silence. Our new show, we're going to be having some new music and some sound effects that's coming to our show as we push this forward to all the radio stations. Today, our topic is, why do fathers mistreat mothers and children? And the effects that it has on the lives of mothers and children. And, of course, we're going to be inviting all the guests, guys. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us, americabreakyoursilence.com, americabreakyoursilence.com. And everybody knows that we have the nonprofit womenempowerus.org. And again, this is brought to you by She's the Boss Productions, bringing forth reality shows and radio shows and music that inspire and empower the world, because our mission is to change lives. And so, everybody knows my story has been just a horrific, bloody, gruesome show, and that's just what happens. You've gone through a lot of abuse. Your self-esteem is knocked down to the ground. And now I'm standing up and fighting back and showing other women how to overcome and how to break your silence. Because as long as you live in silence, you remain the victim. And we must break our silence and expose all of our truths of our story. Because it is our story. And I say to everybody, listen, guys, if you didn't want anybody to find out your dirty, dark secrets on how you treat somebody, don't ever do it. So back to our topic, everybody. Why fathers are hurting the mothers of their children. And some of these fathers are literally moving in another women, cheating, lying, conning, and it just really is destroying the mother. And, I am very fortunate that I'm still standing. I honestly, that's why I started the nonprofit, to pay it forward, because I had an angel in my life and I honestly would be dead. There's no question about it. And, a lot of times if you're too nice, and as women, we're so with our hearts and we love so purely and we just want to be loved. And a lot of times, men walk all over us and they think that they can continue to do so. And when you stand up for yourself, they call you crazy. And you're a lunatic, you're a whore, you're everything under the sun, because you're not going to take any crap from a man. And, I've been through numerous relationships. Obviously, I'm a mother of 9, and yes, I have 4 baby daddies. It's been baby drama. And these men have abused me in such a magnitude where my children are suffering as a result. After my husband died in a car accident, after that, I was beat down, have eardrum issues where blood was coming out of my ears, and I was tied up, and I just couldn't even see, dots in my eyes, and literally close to death, and just crying out to God. At that moment, you don't know if you're going to live or die, and you're asking God for forgiveness, and it's just a horrible, scary moment. And so after that situation, I had a friend, at the time he was just a friend that I knew, and known him for about 8 months. And he had been, calling me nonstop, and we were just friends. And my sister knew that we were just friends, and she called him up, and he seemed to be the knight in shining armor savior. But his entire life was a lie. And it's like this. I tell everybody, you got a plate, and you throw that plate on the floor and it shatters into 1,000 pieces, you can't fix that plate. So when you break someone's trust and you have had a relationship with somebody who you believe everything they're telling you, and you want to believe everything they're telling you, and their entire life is a lie. I mean, he went from doing, I didn't even know he was married till I was probably the second child. I went through horrific mistreatment, grabbing me, shoving me down.
Can I get to Joel's house?
acting like the king of the castle. He was just a control. If there was one fingerprint on the wall, he would lose his mind and scream and holler like a madman. And I would literally be ironing his t-shirts and factory folding them. And every other week, just 5 hours on my hands and knees, scrubbing, and nothing was ever good enough for him. He wanted to live in a museum, and it was when you have two young babies, my two oldest kids were 14 months apart. Life can be very difficult. And I was fighting to go to college. I was major for, pre-med, and wanted to be a doctor, wanted to save lives. And, life has its twists and turns. But look, I'm still saving lives as we break our silence. I decided to use my stories to change lives and get other people that have gone through their abuse to get on our show and break their silence and start getting politicians to get involved with all these laws that we're fighting to change. And, when you get with somebody that is a con man, they end up conning the whole court system to literally legally kidnap your babies. And of course, at the time, me and my son Gabriel was left in the streets. Everybody's heard that story. And it's just been a real roller coaster ride. And these fathers think, I'd rather just kidnap my children than to pay her one penny. Because they have such a control issue that they don't want to see the mother of their children doing well. They will destroy her work. You want to trust. You really want to love. You want to be loved. You want to trust. Listen, girls, do not leave your cell phones on a table to go to the restroom. It don't matter. I know you're like, you have nothing to hide. You don't date. You don't do anything. Well, let me tell you my story. My ex, who's also a billionaire, he just got another $200 million deals. Meanwhile, he's not even giving his little boy medical insurance. Guys, this is child abuse. He went and found out who my Apple ID was. They were able to tap into everything I had and destroy any opportunities of work. But I didn't want to believe that this was happening. Surely not, My phone went missing, but and it never was found, by the way. And that was when the story really took a head for the turn of the worst. And my landlords were being contacted, and then there's payoffs that's been going down, and assignments that's been done. People send in my life as an assignment. And he's got all this money, by the way, because he's not taking care of his child, according to what any court would say. Listen, guys, what if your child wants to play sports? Do you know how expensive that is? When my time is taken away from my companies, and my time is worth money just as your time is, I'm losing millions of dollars. And if you're out there squashing my work, and I can't provide for this child, because it seems to me he's fallen in the same pattern as my ex, Augustino Perna, Mr. Body Chopper. Of course, one would wonder if they mixed up the DNA on my son Job and a deal was done behind closed doors, because none of this absolutely makes zero sense. Supposedly, this is this man's only son. And yet, he has not once wanted anything to do with this little boy. He has instead had stalkers to hurt me, destroy me, find out what I was doing, instead of taking excellent care of this little boy. And paying off landlords to put him in the streets with his brothers and sisters. So he has used his money to destroy the mother and caused her major duress, and my other children crying out. This is extreme cruelty and abuse. And any man that perpetrates such abuse on a woman really should go to jail. This is why aggravated stalking is a crime, and people should go to jail. So anybody that's calling you, I don't care if you're a PI or who you are, and you're being paid to go stalk your ex, it's against the law. You shall go to jail. And if it's caught, you shall go to jail. And, we've got to be a voice, because so many times women become dead and their children are victimized for years. We've been victimized now. It went from the body chopper doing massive madness to me to the man who used to beat me down, Mr. Henry Shuck. Everybody see the blog, AmericaBreakYourSilence.com. So you already know some of this story. Then to Daniel Hollander. Anyway, we've got to end the suffering.